The stricken Team Ford Racing Ranger limped into the pits at Manchwabisi. In true sporting gesture, Glenn Hall had offered the services of the Nissan crew should the Ford team need some additional help. Woolwich and Scholthammer were 10 minutes down on Grobler and Leek at this point.
Neil, tell us what actually went down today.
About 60, 70 kilometres out, we've lost the back diff, and we've just been battling along in two-wheel drive the whole way, you know. First of all, it made a hell of a noise, and it just got worse and worse. And then we just started limping all the way, and just to try and make it to here. So we're going to put another back diff in, and hopefully don't lose too much time and still be able to finish second. I don't know. It depends how quick the mechanics can do it, you know. So, yeah, it's one of those things. It's motor racing, yeah.
And I've seen there's true spirit of sportsmanship. Nissan have offered to assist. Are you going to accept that?
Yeah, 100%. What we did is we got to a road crossing and there were none of our service people there, so we gave the Nissan guys a note saying, please get our guys to get the diff ready. So I'm glad to see they passed the message on. Excellent. But that's what off-roading is about, you know. It's a great camaraderie. I think it's one of the few forms of motorsport left where drivers still talk to each other, and you know there's a good spirit amongst it. You know, there's not much of that left nowadays, so it's good to see.
Cox and Pitchford were now second overall and the Class D leaders on the road, and managed to get out just ahead of the Ford pair, who is now 35 minutes behind the leaders and sandwiched between Cox and Cronje. The reigning Class E champions had a puncture at 100 kilometres into the race and complained that they had to sit in Cox's dust all the way to the service point. Cronje and Birkin were in fact leading Class D by 8 minutes from Cox and Pitchford on corrected time. Stylish driving from former rally champion Hannes Grobler. The proudly South African Nissan hardbody had not missed a beat, and with over 28 minutes in hand, Grobler and Leek could afford to relax their pace a little. With the Team Ford Racing Ranger back in good shape, Woolwich and Scholthammer worked doggedly to reduce the gap and mounted a late charge for the lead. Machaganeni and Carolyn were not under threat and had in fact eased their pace in the total Jimco. Cox and Pitchford were having a no-holds-barred battle with Cronje and Birkin for the Class D win, which would ultimately be decided by mere seconds. The Castrol Toyota lost front-wheel drive soon after this, but it didn't affect Cronje much. Gibson and Brown held station in second place in the special vehicle category, knowing that there was no hope of catching the race leaders. Hugo and Jaap de Bruin were 5th overall in the production vehicle category and comfortably in the Class E lead, while Pearson Fosbury seemed to have settled for second place in the Castrol Toyota Hilux KZTE. Gavin Cronje and Robin Houghton had had a tough day, with rookie Cronje suffering from motion sickness. Despite the inconvenience, the pair had advanced steadily up the leaderboard and were 3rd in class. Noble and Hope knew that they had the Class S win in the bag and took no unnecessary chances on the final haul to the finish. Arnold Du Plessis and George Baker's race was run.
Ons het four-wheel drive verloor, toe verloor ons brieke. Toe het ons onttrek en toe wil ons pits toe gaan om te gaan verder spek tyd toe verloor jy agter asook. Dit is heel.
Less than 100 kilometers to go for Grobler and Leek. A third successive Toyota 1000 victory was now a foregone conclusion for the reigning production vehicle champions. Given Grobler's condition, Woolwich could only ponder what might have been had the Ford Ranger's differential not given up the ghost and put him out of reach of Grobler. Mageganeni and Karen complained that it was extremely difficult to maintain concentration on the last 100 kilometers of the route. Cox had the bit between his teeth, knowing full well that every second would count at the finish and that Marc Cronier, despite only having rear-wheel drive, was whittling away at his slender lead. Cronier and Birkin picked up a puncture soon after this point on the route, something they could ill afford to have happen. The Presidium Bat crew of Clint Gibson and Mike Brown was second overall in the special vehicle category, just under an hour behind the leaders. Class D contenders Paolo Piazzamussa and Rod Herring had a scare when the oil pressure warning light on the Castrol Toyota Hilux came on. They stopped and established that all was okay and continued on their way. Class E leaders Hugo and Father Jaap de Bruin were 8 minutes ahead of Zane Pierce and Henny Vosloo in the Castrol Toyota Hilux KZTE at this point. In previous years, the pair used to share driving duties, but last year Jaap decided that Hugo was the faster driver and elected only to navigate. Durban-based businessman Pearson Vosloo failed to finish the first 2 rounds of the ABSA Off-Road Championship and were more intent on finishing the Toyota 1000 and scoring valuable points than challenging for the Class E lead at this stage. Competing in only his second off-road race, former Rotax Max World Karting champion Gavin Cronier was finding the going a little tough in the Castrol Toyota Hilux that was looking a little worse for wear. An interesting battle had developed between Zematin and Dwegler in the Mastercraft PlayStation Pajero and husband and wife Marius and Tracy van Vuren, who swapped their Class D Land Rover for the Class E Bosel N1 4x4 Toyota Hilux this season. With a little more development and a bit of luck, the Van Vurens can be expected to become serious contenders. 2 third-place finishes and a strong finish on the Toyota 1000 in their rookie year will make Team Ford Racing's Ribaluza and Fakalisa serious contenders for the Class E title. The Stubbs brothers were in line for their long-awaited Class B win, while brothers Yuri and Andre Duplessis just wanted to finish and score their first points of the season. Apart from having to stop 6 times because of